Hello, my name is Angela. This video is designed to help teachers use the available databases through eLibrary Minnesota that are free and easily accessible, and learn how to bring this into their own classrooms in order to teach students how to use them on their own as well. So research can be very daunting and feel almost impossible when you're a high school student. Sometimes it feels impossible to me as a grad school student. And oftentimes as teachers, we may not know how to bridge that gap between this important research information and the student. So this video will hopefully help bridge that gap so you can bring these research resources and strategies into your teaching and student learning. Teaching this skill is important because this is just the beginning of your students' research journey. And up to this point, research has not been a huge part of their education. Many students' version of research is Googling and the topic and clicking on the first thing that pops up, which can oftentimes be an ad. Learning proper research methods and using proper research resources are great ways to help them become more comfortable with this important skill. As you all know, throughout high school, college, a master's program, and doctorate programs, research will become more and more important. For those students who may not be interested in doing anything past high school and a high school education, it's still important to be able to discern fact from fiction, and learning how to use reputable resources is a great way to combat that problem. So that brings me to what I'm going to show you today, and that is eLibrary Minnesota. It's a fantastic resource, and it's provided by Minitex, and it's known as ELM, ELM. It's free and accessible to all users within the borders of the state of Minnesota. If you travel outside of Minnesota, all you need is a Minnesota Library Connected library card. So I'm a member of Ramsey County Library. All I'd have to do if I was traveling would be to just type in my barcode and my PIN, and I would still have access to all these awesome things. We'll primarily be focusing on databases geared towards high school students, simple strategies for conducting searches in each one, and also showcasing a few other ELM resources that may be of use to you and your students. So first, we're going to start here at elibraryminnesota.org. It's up here. You can see actually, you can see that. Either way, eLibrary Minnesota. And this is the homepage. This is what you'll go to when you type in elibraryminnesota.org, and Minnesota is just MN. So we're going to start by clicking on student research. Okay, then you see there is a few different tabs here for different age groups, and we're going to click on high school. There is 8 resources that are designed for this age group, as you can see here, and we're going to take a look at each one, and I'm going to tell you different uses for them. So the first database we're going to look at that's available on that list of 8 is Britannica School High. It has encyclopedia content for high school aged people. Searches can produce articles, images, and videos. Teachers who teach most subjects can teach your students how to use this database because you can look up specific terminology, concepts, people, and more to supplement lessons or activities. Search for concepts in the search bar up here. And before I do a search, I'm going to show you a couple of special features. So this Britannica School High has a lot of biographies that you can look through. Also down, if you go farther down on the home page, you can see, where'd it go? Pass it? Oh, here we go. Explore, compare countries. So let's go there first. You can click on 2 countries, and it compares them and gives you a table of information to compare the 2. As you can see, it's a pretty useful resource, especially for classes that are teaching that sort of concept. And then there's also articles and media that are related to those 2 countries you selected. So let's jump back though, because I would like to show you the search. Genealogy. All right, as you can see, you can filter your results by reading level so that it's easier to read or more challenging, depending on what you find more comfortable. And then you can also increase or decrease the font size in order to make it easier to read. There are different results. There's image results, there's video results, but then there's also more where you can see all these other things too. All that have to do with genealogy. We're going to click on the first article here, and again, you can change this article even by reading level by doing a reading level 2 or a reading level 3. Usually articles have at least 2 reading levels that you can switch between, but sometimes they have all 3. This also has images and videos in the article, and there's also the related content. And you can see here in the related content, it shows you more articles that are related to genealogy, and then, important people in the field of genealogy. Also, primary sources and ebooks are under this tab, and that could be useful. And web's best sites, which I think is very good because you could go to Google and type something in like genealogy, and you could click on a couple of results, but you're like, is this really a good resource? But what's nice is Britannica School High did all the work for you, and it is. And they've got the list here. So we're going to jump back to the article though, and I want to show you one more feature. What's really awesome about Britannica School High is that it can make citations for you. You can send stuff to your email. Again, you can increase the font if it's too small or decrease it if it's too big. You can even translate your articles, and it can be read aloud to you as well. Let's see, I don't want to miss anything. I think that is it. There's also a world atlas on the homepage. It's kind of just Google Maps though, so I don't know. It doesn't seem like it has very special features, but yeah. Oh, and one last thing, under the Help tab, under embeddable search widgets here, if you click on this, you can copy these this code, and you can put it onto your Google site in the embed thing it's called, and you can put it on your classroom Google site, or you can possibly do your Schoology site. I haven't tested that, but I'm sure that could work too. And then students can just go to your classroom page and type right into the search bar their searches, and go in this, and it'll bring them straight to Britannica School High. So, and that is all on that one. The next database on the list is Gale in Context High School. If more in-depth searching needs are needed, then this would be a good database to utilize. It has primary sources, articles, news, magazines, audio, video, and it's in a very user-friendly format still. So this also covers a wide range of topics similar to Britannica High School. So again, it would be applicable and usable by most high school teachers, whatever subject they teach. English teachers, though, students can get in-depth information about books that are talked about in the curriculum. For example, Kite Runner. So I'm going to show you Kite Runner. And all right. And then it pops up there, but we'll just click enter and see what it popped up with search results. Here we go. And suggested topics is over here where it says the Kite Runner. Click on that, and then it gives you a little synopsis. And if you click read more, it provides more information about the Kite Runner and its plot summary. And then there's also related subjects over here. And, if they want to continue exploring, there's more stuff over here about that. Yeah. And again, you can increase, decrease font size. There's there's dyslexia options for reading the words. You can change the letters and how you can read it. You can save it to Google Drive, email to yourself, download, print, all the bells and whistles. And it tells you how many words are in the article, and it tells you the current level of reading level of how hard or challenging this concept is. Yeah, so that's that. We are going to jump back to the search results, though, for Kite Runner. Actually, we might have to type it back in here. And I just want to show you all how it looks when the search results pop up. So as you can see, showing results for all content types. There's lots of different kinds here that you can click on. And then you can also filter your results by publication date. Let's say you only want articles that were made in the last 5 years. Then you can change the publication date. Let's say you want to make sure all of the information is there and you don't just want an abstract or something. Then you would click on full text. And they have other options here as well. And then what's nice about Galen Context is that you can see these are reference information or materials here, and there's 7 of them. They only highlight 3, but if you clicked on reference 7, then that would take you in to look at the rest of them. Same with how this is, it says biographies, there's 4 of them, they highlight 3. Images, audio, love audio. Audio is really cool. It takes from, NPR, talk show snippets and all that stuff. Magazines, and it just goes down the list of different content types we saw up here. Okay. Now we're going to jump back to the main page, and I'm going to show you an advanced search. Now, this advanced search, these skills will be useful on a few of these databases. So what we're going to do is I'm going to look up moon landings. Can't spell. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is Boolean operators. So what I would like to look up is moon landings and Apollo 11. So I want all their information that has to do with moon landings and Apollo 11. I don't want just moon landings. I don't want just Apollo 11. I want it to be both in the same content. I want all of that to be together. So I use the word and, okay? And then if I were to click search, I'd get search results about moon landings that also have to do with Apollo 11. So now let's go back. I'm going to show you another trick. And this one is using or. So let's say I wanted to again do moon landings. Okay, and I just spelled that wrong. And Apollo 11. Oh, one thing I should mention is I'm putting these in quotation marks because I don't want, when I search for something, I don't want, like, let's say I just did moon landings. Let's say I just did moon landings without these quotations, okay? Then I would get search results that included stuff about moons and stuff about landings, but not necessarily moon landings. I'd also get stuff about moon landings, but it would be mixed in with stuff about moons and landings. And I don't want that. I want just moon landings. I don't want to talk about moons or landings. I want to talk about moon landings. So if you put things in quotations, then it keeps those 2 words together so that they will always stay together. Now, let's say, just like our last time, we did moon landings and Apollo 11. But I don't really care if we're talking about Apollo 11 or if we're talking about Apollo 13. So I'm going to put or, because I want all the results that have to do with Apollo 11 and Apollo 13. I want to see it all. So when I do or, it's going to show me everything that it has moon landings and Apollo 11 and moon landings and Apollo 13 all together. Okay? And then that's what those search results will show me. However, let's say I want nothing to do with Apollo 13. I don't even want it mentioned. I don't want it anywhere in any of my search results. I'm going to change this to not. I only want to see moon landings and Apollo 11 together. I am not interested in Apollo 13, so you do not Apollo 13. Okay. Now, those are Boolean operators, and that's and, or not. And you can even use them when you do a Google search, but that's for another day. Anyways. All right, we're going to take a look at what these results would become. And we have actually still, quite a few results. So we're going to click on this first one. It's just a reference article of sorts. And I just want to point out the more like this again. See, there's all these things here that are more like this and related subjects. And you can go down a rabbit hole with this, which I think is really cool. And it's important to show kids that they can continue learning more about this subject by going to those related subjects. So now we're going to jump back to the home page. And we're going to click on Browse Topics. So, as you can see on the homepage, there's all sorts of different topics. This is one of the, I think is like a special feature of this. So you can either go by category and then click under there, or you can just browse all topics and we'll just see what that happens or what comes up there. You'll find tons of various topics, all organized alphabetically. There's a drop-down menu up here so you can organize them into categories to make it a little bit easier to find what you're looking for. And this would be useful for projects that you're not 100% sure what you're going to do your project on, but you know it is for your history class, or you know it's for your physical education, sports, and health sciences class, whatever. And you can click there, and then you can browse through the list of topics and see if there's anything there that interests you. Okay. Finally, the last two special features I'm going to show you, we're going to jump back to the home page. And we are going to find the, my Loom video picture is in the way. Okay, we're going to jump to curriculum standards. And you go and you choose your state. And then Common Core, academic standards. And then it's, for some reason, the only option is English language arts, but you can still use it if you're an ELA teacher. There is grades 11 through 12, 9 through 10 language arts, and then you can go there. And then you can literally click on the standard and it'll show you articles and resources, just like how Galen Context structures that, like as you saw before, and it'll show you things you can use for those. The last thing I want to show you is the, let's see, right here, educator resources down at the bottom of the homepage. And there is a research toolkit, which I think could be a really good resource for you as teachers to print some of these off, have your students go through them. There's also a scavenger hunt here, which I think would be also a cool activity that could get kids more familiarized with databases. Now, sorry, this was a long one, but there was a lot to explain and go over. And now we are going to jump into the next database, which is called Explora Teens. Explora Teens is very similar in scope and range as Galen Context High School's database, where it contains a little bit of everything. Just like the last database, it includes primary sources, articles, reference materials, magazine articles, videos, and news articles. The format is a little less user-friendly once you search for something, but this homepage is definitely user-friendly. But it's more sort of like the database that would be used for researching as a college student, which this could be a good bridge for that, to teach kids this is what you should expect when you get to college. It's going to look a little bit more like this. The last database was a good jumping off point, but this one will really be a steady bridge to help students cross over into real research. One recommendation would be to have students compare information found in each database on the same topic in order to make sure they acquire every important bit of information that exists at their fingertips. And they can also see how things compare. And it actually might be a good activity to see what kind of database they like to use a little bit better, especially since a lot of the content can be so similar. So special features of this database, Explora Teens it's called. It's an EBSCO database. Topics listed below on homepage, as you can see here. Okay. So choosing a topic will take you to a list of results, and there will be a topic overview at the top. So let's do that. We're going to do Edgar Allan Poe because, well, he writes good stories. Okay. So now the articles can be filtered further by using the stuff on the left side here, where it says Refine Results, changing publication date, which I mentioned on the last one. You can choose the exact type of source you want, just like you could on the other ones. You can filter by Lexile range, so that's like reading level. And then maybe you only want to get certain information from very particular publications. And so this would be a good spot for that. Okay, and then let's see here. When searching for something, this database has similar options and setup for doing an advanced search. So we're going to do one right now, an advanced search, and we're going to get a little bit more practice with our Boolean operators. So let's say, okay, no more Edgar Allan Poe, but I want to learn about Nancy Drew, but not the books, not the movies. I want the TV show, which is on the CW. So I'm going to type in Nancy Drew in quotation marks because I don't want to know about other people named Nancy and I don't want to know about other people named Drew. I want to know about Nancy Drew together, right? So I'm going to put it in quotation marks just like that to keep those two words right next to each other in every search. And then I'm going to make sure this says and because I only want articles about Nancy Drew and the CW. I don't need anything else. No books, nothing else. So search. Let's see what happens. And it looks like I got a bunch of stuff where it's news articles primarily because they're talking about the new upcoming show on Nancy Drew, which is on the CW and all that. Okay, so we're going to jump back to the home page. And we are going to click on educators. And it's going to jump us over here. And here there's lesson plans and student tools like a scavenger hunt. It can help students become more easily acquainted with databases and how to use them through this method. There's curriculum standards and valuable sites for teachers. And these are all nice special features of Explorer Teens. And the next database we're going to look at is the Points of View Reference Center. This database contains pro versus con essays that present multiple sides of controversial issues and current issues. It's a great resource to help students develop critical thinking skills by showing them both sides of an argument and having them decide how they feel about both sides. It's also a great resource if you are running a debate in your classroom for social studies or a debate team, but also contains essays and information that would benefit other types of classrooms as well, such as science, art, sports, media, technology. So you could use this in any teacher's classroom. Everyone's got an opinion. So searching is definitely an option, but consider looking through the list of topics on the homepage when you are looking through it. Some special features of this database is on the homepage, there's a list of regularly updated topics to choose from, and they are organized into categories for easier deciphering, as you can see here. Once you click on a topic, it will take you to the topic's overview, where it will give an introduction, talk about the history, and the discussion at hand. So I will show you that right now. Let's just click on Arctic drilling under energy and conservation. As you can see, overview, understanding the discussion, the history, what's going on today. And then on the right side under related items is the point information and the counterpoint information. And then there is a guide to critical analysis to help your student be able to look at this and be like, oh, okay, how do I feel about this? And there's also more resources listed below and what experts say. This site is so cool. I think it's just a really awesome resource. And I love when people are like, hey, is there a database that I can use that does this? I'm like, actually, there is. And, curriculum standards, awesome. On the left side of the article is related information where you can find more information on points of view that are related to Arctic drilling, magazines, newspapers. All this stuff is related to Arctic drilling if I were to click over here. So it's all useful and relevant for the topic on hand. Just as in all the other databases, there is options over here to send it right to your Google Drive. You can email it to yourself. You can make a citation for it and create a permalink. And let's see, so that's very similar to a lot of the other databases. They all have those as options. You can choose the language you want to read this in, and and it can be read aloud as well. So what we are going to do next is we're going to jump back to the home page. And we're going to look under reference shelf over here. As you can see, there's curriculum standards, just like the other website. And actually, I'm not going to click on it because it's the same setup as Explora Teens had. And then there is create an essay outline, a guide for students to do that, which I think is helpful. And there's lots of research guides which can be used by your students to assist them in the processes of writing essays and doing research. So all very useful stuff if you're trying to teach your kids how to research and write papers. And that is the Points of View Reference Center. The next one we're going to look at is Learning Express Library. This database, Learning Express Library, which as I just mentioned, is an awesome resource for high school students. It includes skills building tests and tutorials for 9 through 12 students. It includes college admissions, test prep for ACT, SAT, PSAT, and TOEFL tests. Important parts to note are under this high school student section. Click on it. And then it shows you all these different skill level improvements to work on, such as social studies, science, and some more. We're going to do the mathematics skills improvement. Let's say we're struggling with math. It shows us each skill level, different types of skill levels. And then under each one is practices, tutorials, ebooks, which all are very helpful. Now we're going to jump back to the home page. And under Prepare for College, let's do Explore College. And it includes college calculators to help pay and save for college. You can find scholarships, find the right college, a prep program for each test, practice, test, tutorials, and flashcards. So that would be under get ready for ACT. There it is, prep, tutorials, test, practice, flashcards, ebooks, all super useful things when you're trying to study for the ACT. The last thing I'm going to show you on this is Computer Skills Center, which is just great. Getting started with your computer, getting started with the internet, just useful skills that I think some high school students could use some work on. A couple of special features with Learning Express Library is that it does require registration once you get into some of those practice tests and that sort of stuff. But all it needs is an email and your name and a password, and it's still free to use. But this feature allows you to save your work, and it will keep track of what you have done and what you have not done. So it's useful to create that account anyways. The next database we're going to look at is Science Reference Center. This is the sixth database we're looking at out of 8 of them. And some important information about this one. This is a primarily science-related database, contains scientific periodicals, reference books, encyclopedias. There are 6 major categories for students to browse through, which you can see here, including earth sciences, physical sciences, applied sciences, life sciences, space sciences and astronomy, and scientists. Once you click on your topic, it will take you to some popular topics within that category. Let's click on earth sciences. Then once you get to your search results, just like so once we get there, then we have to narrow it down a little bit more. So we'll click on blizzards, okay? Because we live in Minnesota. All right. Now, once you click on your topic that you picked, it will take you to your search results, and it's just like Explora Teens, where you can refine your results and make it easier to search for the exact thing you're looking for, or browse through the information presented and pick your own. So that's all that's over here, the refined results, just like Explora Teens. So some special features of the Science Reference Center is, let's see, there's a reference shelf over here with, the usual. There's lesson plans, science experiments, which I think is really cool, research and citation guide, curriculum standards, and worksheets. And you can use all of those to assist your teaching in your classroom, and also lets kids explore and do things on their own. So from the home page, again, which we're already here, if you click on publications, which is up here, then you can see a list of the various science publications, if that's how you want to search for them too. So the next database we're going to look at is Master File Complete, and it's our second to last database. And so we'll head over there. Master File Complete is the largest collection of full-text magazines and reference books. It covers most general interest areas. So again, most teachers will be able to use this for their classes, any research you're doing. Any teacher, any student, and any classroom could use this. This database is similar to the ones students will be using for research in college. So it's a good place to practice real research techniques and strategies. It also has a large collection of photos, maps, and flags. Using this database will require some basic knowledge of Boolean operators, which you had from earlier, the and, or, and not, and quotation marks, where you keep words together with quotations, in order to find information faster. It includes the advanced search, which you can see right here, options, as well, that can be seen on the other databases, some of the other ones we've seen. And so we're going to do a quick search just to test it out. And we're going to look for Impressionism. Oh. Sorry about that. And I'm going to use and because I want to make sure it's Impressionism and United States. But I'm going to put United States in quotes because I don't want things just to do with United or States. I want Impressionism from the United States and. All right, and we're going to search. All right, and I'm going to show you how to access an article. So let's say we want to do this turn of the century American Impressionism and Realism article. So I'm going to click there. See over here on your left is where you can find results, kind of like you did in other ones. And you're like, I could read this one down here. Or I could click on HTML full text. And it opens it up a little bit more cleanly so you can see it better. And you have all your options over here, just as you did on other databases. And there you go. That's Master File Complete. It's very similar to the other EBSCO host one we looked at earlier. The last database we're going to check out is the AAS Historical Periodicals. All right, this is the American Antiquarian Society, or the AAS Historical Periodicals. Digitized images from the American Antiquarian Society, taken from the pages of journals and periodicals between the years of 1684 and 1912. That is the quote that comes from the ELM website. This database is also run by EBSCOhost. So the searching, again, will be very similar to the last database and a few others we've encountered so far. This means that when you do search, you'll still be able to filter and refine your results as usual. And for example, Boolean operators and quotation marks could be useful tools in order to search for exact things. This database will be most useful in a social studies classroom or an English language arts classroom. It could be useful in any setting, though, where you want to learn more about history, looking directly into actual history and reading what was actually wrote back then. Pretty cool. Almost every search result results in a digitized copy of the pages from these old journals. So, for example, we're going to search the printing press. Cannot spell today. Sorry, folks. Printing press. And I put it in quotes because I don't want just printing or press. I want printing press all together. All right, lots of articles come up about the printing press and various improvements to it. So, again, let's see. Well, let's click on something. So, let's do this one. Mr. Robert Kirkwood's for certain improvements on the copper plate printing press. Now, where'd it go? You full text? Oh, it's over there. Whoops. There we go. All right. So now you can zoom in. You can, oh, and again, my head down here is in the way, so I need to move myself up. So you can zoom in here, zoom out. You can make it so you see 2 pages at once. Well, oh, there you go. Or you can fit one page, fit the page on your screen. You can make it full screen. You can make it regular. And then this is where the document map, where you can choose the pages. So this is page 257, but it shows you a lot of other pages that were nearby that, where it talked about other things, but it kind of shows you a lot of the journal it comes from. And there's a page map, so you can pan when you zoom in to get to different angles. You can also rotate the documents like so. And I think it's just a really cool look into history. Students can step back in time and read an old format, like the old format of what they would maybe call Twitter back then, and from that time. So video results are also available. Let's jump back. I'm going to move my Loom head down there. All right, back to the result list. Let's see here. I know I saw this. All right. Oh, here we go. All right, video results. So there's also video results, and that they also match your searches that you do. But keep in mind, these are not historically preserved videos. Well, they are, but they're not like related to the journals. They're kind of their own thing. But I think they were thrown in by the EBSCO database to add a little more to the search, a little more context maybe if you wanted it. The rest of the results will be scans of those old journals and periodicals. So that is all 8 databases. We are going to jump back to eLibrary Minnesota's homepage, and I'm going to show you just a couple more things to wrap up. This is that list. Oops, what's going on? This is that list that we were looking at before, and these were all 8 of the databases we just visited under high school, under student research, on the ELM website. So we're going to jump back to the homepage, and I'm going to show you 3 things that I think are important. The first thing is this all databases button. So if those 8 databases were not enough, there are 56 listed here, which include those 8. If you're looking for something very specific, you can type it in here, or it's all alphabetized, so it makes it easier to find. And you can also post links to your classroom web pages. All right, we're going to jump back to the home page, and now we're going to look at publications. So here is where you could either, if you knew the exact type of publication you were looking for, you could type it in right there. If not, you can go to Browse All Publications. Okay, and you can browse by discipline, and you can type it in up here as well. And there's all different types of categories, and within the category is how it shows there's 245 publications about physics. What I'm going to search for is The Economist, and I'm going to show you what this looks like when you search for it. All right, so it shows us our results, and it's the first one. So I'm going to click on The Economist. And then I'm going to click on full text access. Oh, and then I'm going to click on Gale in Context High School, which will jump us over here. And as you can see, there is a lot of issues, and this is all just 2021 right here. So we're going to jump to, well, and if you click on this drop-down menu, you can see there's quite a few years here as well, and they all contain issues of The Economist. So let's click on 1994, and we'll do December 3rd, 1994, and it shows you every single magazine article that was published in this issue of The Economist from 1994, which I think is really cool. It's total, complete access to all of it, and I love it. The last thing I'm going to show you is back on the homepage of ELM. Okay, so we're back there now. And it's the ebooks. I'm going to save this for another video, but I just want to show you how it works. If you click on ebooks, and then you go to eBooks Minnesota, you can browse all sorts of titles here by subject and more. And I'll just let it load for a second. But that is the end of my video, and I hope that you were able to find some of this information helpful. and that now you know where to find these databases. And if you ever have any questions, you can come visit me in the Media Center.